Say that again, please. Sorry about that.
First name is Harold, Harold. Harris, Harris.
Are you comfortable taking your mask off just for this interview?
Sure, sure. No,
I want to see what you look like.
no, okay.
It's more personal that way. You understand?
Hmm.
So, Harold, what's your earliest memory of growing up black in Cleveland?
We come from a town that's not even on the map called Harmony, Pennsylvania. And we had no kitchen, no plumbing. So my earliest memories, Cleveland in 58, 3 years old, and seeing a bathroom with a toilet and bathtub. That's 3 years. That was my earliest memory.
That was a come up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, how did your experiences growing up and becoming a young adult, grown man, how does that shape the attitude you bring to this public health work that you do?
Okay. Well, there's various instances. That's why I said you probably don't have enough time for me. I'm 70 years old. From 68 to 71, I was a member of the People's Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. And in that, I met a lot of individuals from Vietnam War or who were incarcerated for the simple fact that they had a joint and that joint gave them 5 years in prison. And they basically instilled in me blackness and as in black self-awareness. Now, you can view things two ways. You can view it in one instance and you can view it in another instance. But as the brothers told me, you can take it with the, black comprehension, mind and soul. Think like a black man, or you could think like a nigger, which you're going to agree with everything, and no matter what, everything is okay. So, what I try to do in this work that I'm doing now is make sure that black people understand from whence they came, who their ancestors were, because I used to do gang counseling also. Like I said, I got a whole lot. I used to do gang counseling also, and to let them know you are better than what you're acting because our ancestors were kings and queens. Our ancestors were building nations when other people were living in caves sucking on bones. So you need to find out as much as you can from your grandmother, great grandmother, their people, and do research on your own as to who you are, from whence you came, and how great that we are and should be. And in doing so, I try to help individuals as much as I can. Get knowledge, seek knowledge, know what you need to do. Don't just call a number. Before you call a number, do research and then call that specific number or call that specific entity to find out exactly what type of help that you need.
Finish this sentence for me. The future of black health in Cleveland looks like
black health. That's kind of hard to determine the way that the system is now, particularly this system, Trump system, dealing away with healthcare. I mean, right now, it's not black healthcare, it's healthcare in general. We don't know which direction it's heading because it seems the direction is down. So, and black healthcare has always been a problem, as you know, diabetes, cancer, various things that take us away, sickle cell. So I'm hoping through hope that and through some of the things that's going on now that we can primarily through self-awareness and self-help uplift black help to help ourselves from within, because it's going to have to be like that. We can't look outward, we have to look from within.
Who in your life shaped your understanding of strength and resilience? and maybe put the question back in the answer.
My mom passed away April of 2025. My mom raised five of us, single parent mom, no jail records, never been in trouble, never been on drugs. You know, we were poor, or as my great grandmother used to say, we weren't poor, we was poor, because we couldn't afford the extra O&R. So, and through that, strength in putting food on the table, strength in keeping clothes on our back and sending us to school, make sure we get to school every day, and strength through our religion, because my great grandmother was very religious, strength through our religion and through my great grandmother's memory, and just not saying, I can't do it, this is going to beat me, I'm going to let this beat me. No, you keep on keeping on, and through strength from the family. If you don't have family, you don't have nothing. And my mother raised us, you know, that was her mantra. If you don't have family, you don't have anything. And you look back on family, and we got our strength from her. We got our strength from her. She was never down. She wouldn't let anything defeat her, you know.
Tell me about a moment you were proud to be Black in Cleveland.
There's so many things, but 2008, I was at Job Corps, and I was teaching. I was a testing administrator, and then I was teaching a class where all the students that nobody wanted to deal with, hard to handle, they gave them to me. We're in the classroom, got the TV on, and we're watching the inauguration of Barack Hussein Obama. I had tears in my eyes. And they were like, Mr. Harris, why are you crying? Or Mr. H, as they call me. I said, because you just don't know. I said, we were beaten, we were killed, we were hanged, we were lynched. All of that to be able to do what we're doing now, to get where we are today, and for this to happen. Because we didn't never think this was going to happen. America, particularly portions of white America, didn't want this to happen. And for you to be in a program like this, enabling you to better your life and to get a job and better your family, and watch, I said, you know, to me, that stuck out. I had tears in my eyes, and they had, the light buzz was coming on, they had the question marks over their head, and I said, yeah. I said, yeah, because it wasn't that long ago, they don't want us to vote. It wasn't that long ago, we had to ride in the back of the bus. You know, it wasn't that long ago, you walk down a certain street, you might get killed. I said, now look at this today. So that was one of the memories.
Yeah, I was at that inauguration.
You know, oh, okay.
Big sea of people on the line, so
and
extremely special time in my life as well.
Another one was the Million Man March. That, I mean, it was like, it wasn't just Black, it was our Native American cousins, you know, our Arab cousins, our Islamic cousins. We were all as, we should be all as one, you know, coming together. No disruptions, no anything. Remember, people say, oh, it's going to be fights. Oh, them niggas going so and so, so and so. It wasn't none of that. It was beautiful. And that's another memory that I had that made me feel proud. And in instances that brings tears to your eyes, you know.
What does Black history mean to you personally?
It's funny. I was in Mount Pleasant Elementary School. In the 6th grade, there was this teacher. Her name was Lillian B. Stein, white Jewish woman. Do you know she introduced me to Black history? She said, you remind me of Ralph Bunche. And she told me who Ralph Bunche was, you know, a great educator. So this, you know, I know I was with the People's Black Panther Party, but it was this white Jewish woman when I was 10 years old in 65, who introduced me to Black history, and she opened the door because I wanted to know everything. Garrett Morgan, the stoplight, street lights, um, Benjamin Banneker, the architect of the White House. So many people, Black people, things I didn't know about, the Harlem Hellcats, Black Marines who were out of Harlem, who fought on the front in World War One and Two. I mean, it's so much stuff. There's so much Black history that we still do not know about to this day. You know, our ancestors, as I said, we were building nations. We had sewage systems. We had intricate systems when other nations or people of other nations was in the cave sucking bones. We have a history that has they tried to hide it from us. They tried to say it didn't exist. Buffalo soldiers, and it's a shame to say they used the Buffalo soldiers to try to annihilate our Native American cousins, but that's truth. That's what happened. A lot of that. That's why the term itself. A lot of people don't know this. Cowboy. Cowboy was used as a derogatory term towards blacks in the West. The whites were called trailmen or trail hands, but as a derogatory term to blacks, they were called cowboys, and that's where that terminology comes from. So it's so much Black history that I look back on and can speak on. It is a lot. Um, take for instance, um, you had Booker T. Washington. Okay, Booker T. Washington was a great person in a sense, but he was also manipulated by Abraham Lincoln. Who wanted him to manipulate, brothers going into the army to fight the Civil War. So he was a great man in a sense, but he was also manipulated and used as a pawn by Abraham Lincoln. A lot of people don't know that. You know, and then when you look back, if it wasn't for people like everybody heard of Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth were spies for the Union Army. They were also, yeah, she was taking people through the Underground Railroad, but they were both also spies. One of maybe the first spies in this country. And they were infiltrating the Confederate Army because they were black and they were dressed up like, washerwomen, getting information and bringing it back to the Union Army. But you don't hear about it. You hear about what they did on the surface, but you don't hear about them being used as spies to infiltrate and bring forth information.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. That's all we needed.
Okay.